Good morning, YouTube. This is Melissa coming to you not live from my living room in the beautiful, wild and wonderful West Virginia. And I thought we'd keep it casual today because my kitchen, there's a lot going on in there. It's Memorial Day and my mom has been wanting us to make this turkey that's been in my fridge or freezer downstairs. So we're making like a turkey dinner for Memorial Day. I hope you guys have a great Memorial Day. I hope it's safe. Stay safe out there. So I have really been neglecting these fall crops, like hardcore neglecting them. They have needed potted up for way too long. So that's what I'm gonna do. Now, I did go ahead and prepare my soil. What I typically do is I just get some cheap potting mix. This potting mix was super cheap. I believe it came from the Dollar General, and I will put it in a container of some sorts, and I will boil some water and put the boiled water into the dirt to kill any bugs that might be living up in there. And then I will let it cool a little bit. And I added some perlite, worm castings for some nutrients and air, you know, some to keep the soil less compacted. And I also added some mosquito bits just in case, because the bag had been sitting outside for so long in case there was any bugs going on in there. And then after the dirt cooled down with everything kind of combined together, I went ahead and potted up my cups and things. You do need to have a drainage hole in the bottom of your cups. A really easy way, somebody said on YouTube, to do it is to just stack the cups up and use a drill. My husband is very picky about his tools, so a lot of times, you know, I want to do what I want to do when I want to do it. So I'll just use scissors and kind of stab the bottom of a couple cups, give it a little twist, and there you go. So a lot of these, I started these in these peat pellets. They were not very big. I wish they were bigger. And like I said, they've just been in here way too long. So I am going to try to separate them, I think. These are Long Island Brussels sprouts. I don't know whether to just cut one off or try to separate them. Maybe I'll just cut one off because they're pretty stressed. So all you really do to thin out your seedlings is just cut one off. Honestly, you can eat that and it'll taste like cabbage. That's what it tastes like. So you're just gonna take your cup or whatever you're using, kind of compact the soil down in there a little bit, make you a little hole, stick this in. You wanna bury it as deep as you can so that it can establish some roots, give it a little stability. And there you have it. It'll perk up, it'll go through a little transplant shock, but it should be fine. That's what I'm gonna do. I have all kinds of stuff in here. This is purple top rutabaga. So same, I'm just gonna make a hole. I'm gonna grab it. They're all kind of intertwined together. You know, they really have been in here just way too long. You know, that's the thing. We watch a lot of these people on YouTube and they're just so together. They're so prepared. Their gardens are gorgeous. They're weed free. Their seed starts are just perfect. And it makes the rest of us feel a little insecure, you know? We're like, oh, we can't do it if we don't do as good of a job as them. And you know what? Do it. Do it, whether you let your seedlings sit too long, whether you don't have the best soil, just do it. One of my favorite ladies who has taught me a lot about gardening has always said that gardening is a hobby for the hopeful. And I truly believe that. It is, you know, sometimes you have great years, sometimes you don't. But we're always hopeful that it will work out, right? You know, we're doing our thing. These nasturtiums are doing pretty good. The lettuce, I'm not even gonna plant. I mean, I shouldn't have done this. They're a mess in there. I'll just direct sow lettuce, I think, because they're leggy and long. And so that's basically what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna keep potting stuff up, and I'm just gonna set these outside. I may leave them out there. They say to set them outside and bring them back in and set them back, you know, longer and longer. And I guess you can do that. That's probably the smartest thing to do, but sometimes life happens, and sometimes you have too much stuff to do to be dragging stuff in and out and in and out. So I may take them out for a few hours today and bring them back in, and then maybe a few hours tomorrow and bring them back in, or I'll just leave them out there. And hopefully they'll do okay and they'll bounce back, and I can go ahead and plant them outside as soon as I pull some of the other stuff out of the garden that's dying off. So yeah, I'm just gonna keep potting this stuff up for a little bit. That you can do is, if you need to add a little bit more soil to your cups, you can definitely do that. These are all Brussels sprouts. Instead of using up all these tags, which are actually outside in the garden in the mailbox, I'm just going to take a Sharpie and write, you know, Long Island Brussels sprouts on each of these cups. And that's how I'll know what's what, because all these plants in the Brassica family tend to look the same. And that's what I'm potting up today. I'm potting up broccoli, cauliflower, rutabaga, Brussels sprouts. I am not going to pot up that lettuce. I don't believe. Maybe I'll do one or two as an experiment, and the nasturtiums, I'll pot them up. And so that's what I'm doing. And I don't think you guys really need to watch me do the whole thing. You do want to add some nutrients to your soil. You want to use a decent potting mix. It's easier to wet your potting mix down before you get started so that it kind of clumps together. You don't want it soaking wet, and you don't want it bone dry. Then you can add a little fish emulsion or some kind of light fertilizer when you water them in, just to give them a little boost, but not so much that you burn them up. And then you want to acclimate them outside if you got the time, and then hopefully in a few weeks they will have beefed up and we can put them outside. Here, you know, I'm in West Virginia. I am in zone B, 6B. There's 6A, 6B, I'm 6B. Fall is unpredictable. We have some falls that are very cold. We have some that are very hot. So it all just really depends on what I'll do. I'll kind of have to keep an eye on the 10-day forecast. So one thing I forgot to say that's probably kind of important is that I've never grown any of these plants successfully because I always try them in the spring. So this year I am trying them in the fall in hopes that, you know, they'll come to fruition, because I plant them in the spring. And typically when they start to get big and they grow little fruits, you know, I'll have little broccolis and little cauliflowers, and then it gets hot and they bolt and go to seed. And I have to pull them out of the ground. So I have grown these from seed before. I have planted them in my garden before, but I have never actually got to harvest them because I always do it in the spring. So this fall garden that I'm going to try this year and bring you guys along with me, please help me if you have any suggestions, if I'm doing something wrong, which, let's face it, I like to push the envelope. It's not that I like to push the envelope, it's just that I have a lot to do and I can't do everything perfectly. That doesn't mean that I don't try to do it. You know, if you can't do it perfectly, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try, right? So yeah, this is my first attempt at a fall garden. I mean, I've thrown beets in the ground and things like that, but the broccolis, the cauliflowers, all the brassicas, this is a first. So there's that little tidbit. Last time I was trying to show you guys the entryway to the garden, if you will. They're just some old posts that we had laying around that I stuck up here and added a little flower bed in there to attract some pollinators, and it's just lovely. So lovely. And literally I just threw down some zinnia and cosmos seeds, which I love. They tend to reseed. There's a little sunflower, didn't get very big. Now, these are right here. These are the dried up seeds. You can harvest these and keep them and plant them next year, or you can just kind of throw them back down in there, whatever you prefer. But you can definitely save the seeds, and the zinnias as well. You can save the seeds from them. Look at this one back here. It's just gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. This stuff here, I got it at Shields Greenhouse, and it's not flowering right now, but it smells fantastic. It is a Mexican mint marigold, and it's gorgeous. These are bright light cosmos, and I just kind of stuck that flag right there because that's the compost bin. I throw a lot of stuff in there. I bought 2 climbing rose bushes. This is one right here, and Reed loves to play with the pots that flowers come in. So he dug it out of the ground and pulled it right up out of the pot. This is the other one, and it is going up this trellis. Now, one of the gardeners that I have watched a lot of, I really love her, like the first couple garden seasons, is Roots and Refuge, and she of course has just a much bigger garden than I do, but she has this arch and it's covered in these climbing rose bushes, and I just fell in love with it, as I'm sure if any of you are familiar with that channel, you did as well. So that is a Tutti Frutti climbing rose bush, and it has really grown, really grown since planting it. It's making its way up there. So let's go in here in this very neglected garden. Poor sunflower, so heavy it didn't last long, and see what's going on in here. See, I just want to give you guys an idea of what a mess it looks like right now. That's where I pulled a lot of these beans out, and I just kind of threw them over there. I still have lots more beans to pull out, and just give you an idea of what a mess I have going on, so that you can then see it when I clean it all up and we get ready for fall, you know? Because I just don't get hung up on the perfection of everything. You just can't. You just can't. If everything we did, we had to do perfectly, if everybody in life we had to please perfectly, I mean, come on now. I don't know about you, but that just ain't me. I am flawed. I mean, I am as flawed as this tomato. Oh Lord, you know, but they're still doing their stuff and things. Definitely going to be canning some peppers. There's 2 more little butternut squash forming. Hopefully they have time to do something. I think I packed too much in there. These are the red hot cherries. You know, They got little baby peppers. My husband, he requested those. There's a red one. And there's some more red ones down here. So he likes to put them in fried potatoes. Oh my, look at the blight. And that's what happens when it's so humid. You know, like I said, it just got so humid. Oh no, man down, man down, man down. It's a little cattywampus, isn't it? Yep, sure enough is. Sure enough is a little cattywampus. Look at all that. You know, it might not be the best looking garden, but I'm helping the ecosystem. Holy crap. That little tiny, didn't do nothing, sugar baby watermelon is got a tiny little watermelon. Well, aren't you precious? You are just precious. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, so I need to check on the corn because we can have corn with our turkey dinner. I've already just picked a few. I don't know, this was some variety of corn from Baker Creek. I think I threw away the seed packet. But the ears of corn are so small. I mean, they're just small. Over here are the pole beans, and there are definitely pole beans needing to be picked. See how tiny some of these ears of corn are? I mean, they're just small. Small. And for a lot of you people, if you live in areas like I do, this is baby copperhead season, so be careful in your garden. They like moist places. From, you know, what the Google and everybody say. I mean, look at these burn up cucumbers, but then we have these big gorgeous beans. So, you know, a lot of it is timing when you plant things, and I have got to get better about that. Some of these I should have been out here days ago to pick, so my bad. So many weeds, you know, those are weeds. And with the peppers, that's basil that I need to top off again and dry out. And these are that's my big old dead beans, should have been picked a long time ago, that I am now just going to try to harvest some seeds from. That's why they're still there, because the beans came on at a time when I couldn't get out here to pick them, and they got too big and bugs got to them. So now I am just letting them get big, and I'm going to harvest seeds. So, you know, you got to do what you can do. I'm sure there's probably some in there that are okay. I already see some that are small-ish, but a lot of them are big, and, you know, just do what you got to do. The sunflowers. We've got some butternuts. Butternut there. Butternut up here. I will be doing things a lot different next year. Beans. Beans are everywhere. So I suppose I can cook some of these purple beans, and that's just gorgeous. I mean, let's just face it. If you don't have a cattle panel trellis in your garden, I highly recommend it. I believe these are two. They're zip tied together right here. You can see the zip ties. And they are just hooked to T-posts. Actually, I believe they are zip tied onto the T-posts. I think these panels are $20 a piece, if you can get them to your house. My husband had to bend them up in the bed of his truck, looking like the Beverly Hillbillies to get them over here, but we did. And it was super easy. They are also running behind the tomatoes. They're flat plate panels that are just hooked behind the tomatoes, and then I can tie the tomatoes to the panels as they grow. And that's just been way easier for me than staking them, because I'm just not very good at it, I guess. So I want to show you guys this too while we are out here. So marigolds. If you buy one pack of marigolds in your life, you never have to buy another, because in here, when this dries out, there's your seeds right there. Those are marigold seeds. And anywhere those seeds fall, most likely, they will on their own come back next year. I mean, let's just, for fun, we're gonna drop them in the ground right here. Okay, so I'm getting off course. I came out here because I wanted to show you what a mess it was before we take the journey into the fall garden. I'm thinking some stuff can go here where the green beans are. That first row of tomatoes over there is really struggling. So in a couple weeks, I can pull all of those tomatoes out and plant something in the holes where the tomatoes are, or I can just pull that fabric up. I'm wondering if that fabric played a part in hindering the growth of the tomatoes. These beds here probably have the loosest soil because they're raised beds, and the peppers are in there, and the peppers are the things that are in my garden the longest. My peppers here don't usually start really doing great and coming on heavy until fall. You know, they're just now starting to really put out some big stuff. So I guess for beets and things, I might just have to kind of go in between or whatever. So here's what we look like now, coming to the end of the summer garden. You know, I can't wait to kind of go down the journey of a fall garden and what it's going to be like. So I think what I mainly want you all to take away from my channel is that things don't have to be perfect to still be beautiful, to still harvest some food, or just for therapy. A lot of what I do is really just for therapy purposes. I can pay a therapist, or I can buy seeds and dirt and fertilizers, and it's been just a huge blessing to me in my life. I mean, honest to goodness, it really has. So yes, my garden is very imperfect. Right now it's neglected, it needs weeded, it needs watered. But you know what? It's still beautiful, and it's still an escape, and it's still something that I can come out here and work in and piddle in, and I'm not thinking about autism. I'm not thinking about bills I need to pay. I'm not thinking about people who are ill. I'm not thinking about the C19er. I'm watching things grow, and I'm tending to them, and it's just an amazing hobby. So really, don't get hung up on the perfection of things. Don't let the perfection of things stop you from trying to do them, because that's how you learn. I learn the most by making mistakes, and I make mistakes all day, all the time. But you just learn and you grow. So I wanted to share that. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I hope you all have a great day. If you're not having a great day, please know that usually in a few days and a couple nights sleep, it gets better. It truly does. So I will see y'all later. Have a great and happy Memorial Day.